Now he's got the skin wire, the flesh hoop, and he's going to use the same technique we use for the congas. He's got to slip the skin over the flesh hoop and under the counter hoop.
What's that box for?
We're using this box to keep the stick and ball centered in the middle. Obviously, you would want, in your finished cuica, the stick and ball to be in the center of the head. You'll get the best response when you start pulling it. So that's what we're using the box for, just to keep it centered in the rim assembly. Okay. Here we're installing the cuica tuning screws, and like the conga, you'll see how the rim tips when we're putting it on. You want to make sure you don't lose that flesh hoop as you're doing these maneuvers here. Let me give you a hand, I'll just hold that down. Okay, now a cuica, the rim is pretty much flush with the finished head. So what Jim's going to do now, he's making sure he has most of the wrinkles out, and then he's going to bring down the rim just about to the level of the head. As you can see, the cuica has 4 lugs. He's going cross. The reason for that is he wants to keep the rim coming down straight. He doesn't want to go around the drum and have it looping around. And you never want to tighten down too much on any one lug. You'd also always like to do it a little bit at a time. It makes the transition come down smoother. If you tighten down on one, you might actually start bending the rim. Good. Once again, we're using a sharp, single-edge razor blade. And once again, please be careful using this. Now he's slicing downward, so he has something to grab. This is a much thinner skin. It kind of slips out of your hands. Now because the rim is at the same level of the head, he's able to ride the rim going around the drum. It's not the same kind of thing as a conga drum where you had to use a guide finger. And once again, he's not using a sawing motion. That blade is just touching the head. He's actually pulling the head into the blade. You're pretty good at this, Jim. There you have it. These drums also would dry very fast because it is a thin head. I'd still let it sit overnight because you do have the fold of skin underneath there. Always be sure that the flesh hoop is even around the bearing edge of the drum. and that it's inserted evenly into the counter hoop, as you can see here. You don't want to push too much to one side. You want your tuning lugs to all be doing the same thing, coming down at the same angle. And this holds true for congas, bongos, cuicas, any drum. One final reminder, now that you've mounted your new drum head, you'd like it to last as long as possible, obviously. After a session, we recommend that you'd back off on these lugs, detune the drum, loosen the head a little bit. That will greatly prolong the life of the head. You got to think about it. When you're playing, and you're playing hard, you get to take a break afterwards. But if you torque up this drum, you're putting it in your road case, and you're putting it in the back of your van, and the tension is always on it. There's always a lot of stress here. That's why these drums are built like this. But if you want to prolong the life of your head, loosen it up and tune it up. The head will last a lot longer. Your lugs and all your rims will last a lot longer. And always use lug lube. Another point to remember is when you're tuning your drum, we've seen a lot of drums where somebody tunes up on one lug more than all of the rest. Maybe it's a lug that's closest to them as they're playing, but when you do that, you're putting unnecessary stress on one section of the shell. You're stressing the shell, you're stressing the rim. You can actually distort the shell and oval the rim, and this would make tuning almost impossible. And then you're looking at getting new rims, new hardware. So you want to definitely tune evenly. You'll tune this one, you'll turn all the way around the drum. That's when it's going to sound most beautiful, when you do it evenly around. And as you're tuning a drum, you can use the same technique we used before. Look at how much lug, how much threads are left. If it's even around the drum, that means the rim is pulled down evenly going around the drum. That's the easiest way to tell if you've evenly tuned your drum. And of course, your ears is the other thing. You want to have that just right sound. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from our presentation today. We covered everything. What I want to stress is that you can take an older LP drum, 15, 20 years old even. You can take the time, mount your own head, or put a new pre-mounted head on it, and that drum will sound terrific. Of course, you always want to care for your drums, and LP drums are built to last. They're built to take that abuse, but just think how much longer they'll last if you'll keep them in cases, keep using that lug lube on them, and take good care of them.